High on a mountain shrouded in mist sat Blackwood Manor, a once gleaming mansion that now resembled a forgotten dream. Peeling paint and vacant windows stared back at the world like hollow eyes. Back in the late 1800s, it was a haven for the wealthy Blackwood family, a place where laughter and music filled the grand halls. But all that ended in 1921 when the owner, Alistair Blackwood, along with his entire family, vanished without a trace. No bodies were ever found, and whispers about restless spirits and bad luck started clinging to the place like cobwebs. For years, Blackwood Manor stood alone, a monument to the missing family. Then, in 2018, a young couple named Henry Yao and his companion stumbled upon it. Henry, a writer with a penchant for the macabre, saw the mansion as a treasure chest overflowing with inspiration for his chilling stories. His companion, a history buff, was consumed by the mystery surrounding the Blackwood family's disappearance. Ignoring warnings from the locals about restless souls and unseen dangers, Henry and his companion rented the mansion for a month. When they arrived, the only sound was an owl hooting in a nearby tree. The air felt heavy, like something was pressing down on them, and Henry's companion shivered despite the summer sun. Henry tried to act brave, but even he couldn't hide the worry in his eyes. Inside the mansion was a dusty and grand labyrinth. Cobwebs hung from fancy chandeliers that no longer shone, and portraits with eyes that seemed to follow you lined the walls. As they explored, whispers seemed to brush past them, like someone talking in another room just out of reach. Henry told himself it was just the old house creaking and the wind sighing through broken windows, but it still made him nervous. The first night was a symphony of unsettling sounds. A dripping faucet sounded like someone hammering a nail. The floorboards groaned under the weight of non-existent footsteps, and laughter echoed through empty halls. Henry's companion clung to him, scared and regretting they ever came. The next morning, they found a single perfect red rose on the doorstep outside their room. Everything else in the mansion was dirty and old, so the rose looked bright and fresh, like it didn't belong. It felt like a message, a creepy warning that something unseen was watching them. Days turned into weeks, and the strange occurrences kept happening. Doors slammed shut on their own, objects mysteriously moved, and they couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Henry's companion, who didn't believe in ghosts at first, started to feel just as creeped out as Henry. One afternoon, exploring the dusty attic, Henry stumbled upon a forgotten trunk. Inside, he found a collection of old photographs, each showing a happy scene from Blackwood Manor's past. A family picnic, a birthday party for a child, a fancy ball. But something felt wrong with them. Looking closer, they saw a chilling detail, a shadowy figure standing at the edge of each picture. Henry called for his companion, and their face went pale when they saw the ghostly presence. Could these photos be proof of the rumor surrounding the Blackwoods? Was a spirit trapped within the mansion, its ghostly image forever etched onto these forgotten memories? Suddenly, a cold wind swept through the attic, blowing out the lantern they were using for light. They scrambled for the exit, the attic plunging into darkness as they slammed the heavy door shut behind them. In the sudden silence, they could have sworn they heard a faint, sad sigh. That night, Henry dreamt of a woman in a long white dress, her face lost in shadows. The woman beckoned Henry to follow, her voice a haunting whisper. Henry woke with a gasp, sweat clinging to his skin. The woman in the dream looked just like the shadowy figure in the photographs. Blackwood Manor seemed to be tightening its grip on them. The air grew heavy and hard to breathe, and the whispers now seemed to speak words, even though they couldn't understand the language. One morning, they found strange symbols painted on the walls in red, like scary drawings of people with outstretched arms and hungry eyes. Henry's companion, worried about Henry's sanity and their own, suggested they leave. But Henry was hooked. He felt a strange pull, a need to unravel the mansion's secrets.